Intents. The intent-driven future with near intents. Hello, everyone. My name is Dejan Radic. I come from Near Protocol, and I'm technical program manager there, working on development of the near intents. So, we're going to talk about why near intents. We're going to talk about some details, some numbers, interoperability, partners, and finally our cooperation with Stellar. So, when we talk about intent-driven protocols, usually they are high level of abstraction over the cross-chain swaps. Cross-chain swaps, in its essence, are pretty complex, and they are one of the types of the intents. Intent can be anything you want to do on-chain, and in general, cross-chain swaps are something that is most complex. Cross-chain swaps are too slow, because it takes time to execute a transaction on origin chain, then send it to the destination chain, so it takes the time. It is too costly, because some chains are having big fees, some chains are executing it in a way that's, I would say, pretty complex and pretty costly, and they're risky because everything has to be executed atomically from the origin chain to the destination chain with a couple of transactions going around. And if any step in the process fails, basically, whole transaction fails. So they are also too fragmented and at the essence, too hard to monetize. For everybody who wants to build it, it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes, I would say, a lot of interoperability and a lot of integrations in order to be functional. So, introducing near intents. If you're a user or an AI agent, you would come to the protocol, to the distribution channel, which can be any kind of app or the app, and basically you would create an intent which would be sent to a list of market makers who are responsible to send quotes for your request. So that means we are doing it in a capital efficient way. Everything gets settled on a near protocol on intents.near smart contract, where you have transparency and efficiency of the process, and all the differences between the transactions are being calculated and settled, and many data sources are available there. And finally, we have the intent being fulfilled. So that means that transactions or a set of transactions with a list of steps has been executed atomically. So, near intents enables fast execution of the cross-chain swaps, and we are introducing also other intent-driven types with a low cost and no minimum extractable value losses. Cryptographic control is basically enabled through MPCs, through TEEs, and through different ways of enabling these atomic operations. And in general, this is, I would say, the most complex part of the system. And we do it in a way that we use liquidity from different sources. So we have centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, different ways of rebalancing. We are in essence a type of an aggregator on a high level of abstraction, where this kind of concept is created in a way that users get the best offers from the market makers, so that capital efficiency and the best cost for the user is being executed. So the system in essence works as in Dutch auction type of way, so everybody gets an offer and basically the best one wins. And at the end of the day, what we are trying to achieve is to have aligned incentives so that you, as a distribution channel, if you decide to do so, you can have a fee from every transaction, and fees are transparent, and you can set it in your own way so they are configurable. So what are the main components of the near intent smart contracts in general? So basically we have distribution channels, you have market makers, and near intents is in the middle with the smart contract. If you decide to do so, you can be a distribution channel, you can be a market maker, you can be also a smart contract if you want, but it would be a bit more complex to do. Either way, distribution channels integrated from front side, and market makers are signing offers or replies to the quotes that are being sent by the users who use distribution channels. So we can call it like a B2B2C business model in general. So how it looks like. One of the main distribution channels is near-intents.org. It looks like this, pretty simple Uniswap style interface where you can come and do swap from 24 chains, 115 assets to anything else. Our plan is actually to expand it. So basically, you can have the option to do the listing of any kind of token itself by just providing enough liquidity to do so. And in general, this simplistic interface is driving users. So this is one of the ways to do the usage if you're the end user. And you can see the functionality pretty simply. And majority of the other distribution channels are having almost, I would say, the same interface itself. Integration-wise, we have developed simple APIs for any app or the app to do the integration, and anybody can do it pretty fastly by utilizing our OpenAI spec with the Swagger and basically doing coding with the Copilot in 15 minutes. You have the integration simply and scalably. And finally, chain abstraction and scalability. In order to enable this kind of functionality, Near is trying to go towards chain abstraction momentum at this point, and basically scalability is something that we want to achieve, and it's pretty interesting way how we have achieved it through passive deposit withdrawal services, connecting of multiple bridges, and connection of different kinds of ecosystems. So basically, it's enabled to do any kind of swap in any kind of way with a pretty scalable infrastructure. And finally, what everybody wants to know is about fees. So if you generate the API key, there are no fees. So we're enforcing people to use the API keys. So let's go to the numbers. Basically, we have consistent upward trend with the activity, with the TVL, and with the volume. So basically, it was launched in November, and as every protocol, as you can see, basically it takes some time to have the momentum. And right now, it's gaining traction, and this is the, I would say, image, because I had to send presentation a bit earlier. But either way, in the last few days, we're having around 20 million of daily volume. Majority are blue chips, but there are also representatives of other currencies there. And as you can see, it's been exponential or linear in logarithmic scale. So we won't be able to maintain this momentum for a long time, but I think it has gained a really, really good traction lately. We've swapped around 1.1 billion of funds so far since November, and there is around 10, 15 to 20 million of daily volume. And you can check the information on Dune Analytics or DeFi Llama for the details. So we are having a lot of ecosystems that we represent, and major players are there. Stellar is there. So basically, a couple of distribution partners are there, including Infinex and Kyber, and all the others. Regarding the contributors, that is something worth mentioning. We have the Fuse Labs that are doing development of the system. Near One, that's basically a core development of the Near protocol, and Near Foundation. And finally, what do we offer? On the next slide, we're going to see one-click swap API, the most simple API you can use. You can be a market maker or solver, basically providing liquidity and doing the solving for the intents. You can do cross-chain deposits. And finally, something that's being developed right now are escrow intents, something that we want to implement in order to increase the functionality and efficiency of the system. So, one-click swap API. So, what we were trying to do. We know all the, I would say, functionality aspects of the cross-chain swaps and the intents itself, and that was kind of hard to grasp. So our idea was, let's create a simple API where only mandatory things that have to be set are basically a couple of fields, and by just shooting a post request to our API, you would get a quote with a deposit address from a market maker, and then by just executing this transaction and relaying it to the chain, to the origin chain, basically everything gets done for you. There is a refund logic, there are app fees, you can introduce fees, and there is a way to introduce couple of fees. For example, if you have a couple of founders and all of them are having percentages of participation, it can be done on a protocol level. And interoperability in mind, basically, system has been developed in a way that's developer friendly and simple. So if you would like to implement it, feel free to ping me and I'll explain in details. Near has been oriented towards decentralized AI. So basically our idea is to, I would say, enable the functionality of both crypto and AI worlds. And in general, if we want to have a use case, for example, I want to build an AI agent, which is going to have the access to the funds and which is going to do portfolio management, any kind of transactions, cron jobs, perpetual aspects, any kind of functionality. Basically, you can utilize this API, you can create a key management on your own, and you can utilize different platforms for key management and enable this kind of functionality in a DeFi world where simply AI agent can do any kind of transaction in a pretty transparent and straightforward way. So API that I have presented has status tracking where AI agent can also know about the statuses. And the final goal is basically to create simple user experience and APIs which would enable the usage of the AI world in this kind of context. So feel free to ping me regarding partnerships and investing into the intent-driven future with the near intents. Finally, our cooperation is stellar. So, roughly a month ago, we have integrated Stellar into near intents. We have pretty good traction. Every day there is a pretty significant volume happening, having in mind that it's pretty novel. So basically, we have liquidity on different chains where you can do Stellar to any or any to Stellar transactions. And SCP-53 signatures are supported. So basically, you can utilize Stellar wallets to issue transactions and Stellar signature methods regarding this. Cooperation is going really well, and that's why I'm here to present this as a next step of the crypto corporations. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, we
have
like
2 minutes for questions.
2 minutes for questions. Questions? I have a question, actually. So how much volume have you seen on Stellar now that it's, in the past month?
Well, roughly a couple of thousand per day. So maybe cumulatively around 200K. Basically. So it started on, I think it was pushed on 19th of August, and today is 17th of September, so basically roughly 30 days of volume, pretty good traction.
And is it following that curve?
Yes, exactly, because we are representing it, and we see in the metrics that everybody has been using it, and it's gaining traction more and more. In the last days, we see a couple of transactions that are pretty big that are happening around, so that's also kind of good.
Question over there. I think we got one more question.
I didn't catch if you said low fees or no fees. What was it?
So if you use the API key for the integration, there are no fees. Only there is a protocol fee, 0.3071%. So we can say it, if you're using intents directly, only the protocol fee applies, is 0.0001. And if you use the API key, there are no fees. But if you don't use the API key during the integration, it's 0.1%.
Got it. OK, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Really great stuff.